Hello and welcome to the newspaper review here on TAF TV. Yes, this is where we get to discuss trendy and catchy headlines every day. We get to look into the newspapers and discuss with the people on the streets. We get to see their reactions and thoughts as regards headlines making rounds on the papers. My name is Obed Jerry, your host for today, and yes, you out there can also be a part of this show. Do not subscribe to our channel. If you're yet to subscribe, turn on your notification button, connect with us across all our social media platforms so that you get to receive our notifications. Well, before we delve into discussing with people on the streets, let's first look into the newspaper headlines and see what the stories look like. First, we'll be looking at the Vanguard newspaper today being Friday, 22nd March 2024. We can see as headline here reads, manufacturers' income tax falls 6.85% to 145 billion naira in quarter 4 2023. Details is found in page 19. Edo Guba, 72 hours to go. 10 parties nominate candidates, says INEC. Details is found on page 7. Subsidy removal. 1 billion liters of petrol smuggled out, says federal government. We are complaining that we don't have petrol in the country. We are complaining that subsidy has made this petroleum thing have a very detrimental effect on us. And we are hearing that they are smuggling petrol. But the federal government knows what to do best as regards this situation. All right, still on the newspapers, we could see as headline here reads, Kanu's continued detention, humiliation of entire Igbo race, says family. Details is found on page 11. We see the main story here reads, killing of soldiers, Okwama women, children trapped in forest for 6 days. Details of the story is found on page 5. State police, only 16 states submitted presentation, says NEC. Details is found on page 8. Ebonyi government wades into Abomege in Shikwa 111 years land dispute. Details is found on page 11. Please let what happened in Delta State, in the community in Delta State via land dispute, not happen in Ebonyi State. And that's all we'll be taking on the Vanguard newspapers. 8-3-7-9. And moving on, we'll be looking at the Nation's newspaper. We see here it says, Oti signs law repelling pensions to ex-Abia governors, deputies. Details is found on page 5. NDDC to contractors, no quality jobs, no payment. Details of this story is found on page 5. Uzodinma dissolves agencies, commissions boards. Details is found on page 5 also. O2 inaugurates 20-kilometer evacuation road in Cross River. Details is found also on page 5 of the Nation's newspaper. No backing down until killers of Army 17 are arrested, says GOC. Sub-story under that reads, don't harbor criminals, governor warns monarch. Details is found on page 2. 10 kidnapped in Edo. Details is found on page 6. Pinnick, Davido settles failed contract disputes out of court. Details is found on page 24. You can see how the main story here reads, federal government, governors slowing down work on state police. Stop story under that reads, 20 states get ultimatum to submit report. Details is found on page 2. Enugu ex-APC chair kicks against frivolous suspension of members. Details is found on page 5, and that's all be taken on the Nation's newspaper. And lastly for today, we'll be looking at the Punch newspaper. We could see here it says, NLC wants minimum wage April. Governors warn against bloated demand. Details is found on page 3. States owe federal government 1.7 trillion naira budget loans. Details is found on page 19. Naira appreciates to 1,382 naira per dollar. Presidency cautions speculators. Details is found on page 19. Delta bloodbath. States warn monarchs against shielding suspects. Details is found on page 2. At the main story here, we could see it says 16 governors back states police. 16 governors back state police submits reports to federal government. Sub-story under that reads, federal government await 20 state reports, says NEC. Presidency source insists. All governors want state police. Details is found on page 2. Smoke out illegal miners. Federal government tells 2,200 new mining marshals. Details is found on page 25, and that's all we'll be taking on the dailies for today. Now let's get to see the reactions of people on the streets. Let's get to hear what they have to say as regards these headlines. Stay tuned. All right, welcome.
Yes, thank you.
I would like your thoughts on the Vanguard newspaper that says killing of soldiers. That same issue of killing of soldiers in Delta State. Okwama women, children trapped in forest for 4 days. They said when the army stormed the area, getting angry and wanting to know why their colleagues are being killed. they stormed their area, and some persons fled for their life. They were scared. You know how the army do their things, so they had to flee. And now other communities don't want to accept them. They are trapped in the forest as we speak.
The truth is that nobody will accept a thief generally and keep in the house. Even you, if somebody that is a thief runs into your house, when police come, they carry everybody. So in as much as we know, say our Nigerian armies, they will not fold their arms and watch 16 of them just die off like that. But at some point, I feel they're dragging it too much. For this person to,
we know how the army do.
Obviously, for this person to spend like 6 days in forest, it means
not just men, women and
women. It shows that those guys, our Nigerian armed forces are taking it at a very high rate now. They are actually taking laws into their hands. But we know basically that these are their colleagues that we killed. So I feel at this point that they're actually doing it out of emotions. They should allow our police force to actually do their duties, because it is the duty of our policemen to actually carry out this investigation. Because at this point now, I feel the emotions that have been attached to this investigation, leaving it to
reality.
Yes.
Now we could see that the army is even still saying that the monarchs in Delta community, this Okwama community, they should not shield and cover up these suspects, that they should not cover up anybody. But the Senate President was saying that these people that perpetrated this act are not from this community. These are two contradicting stories.
Obviously, at this point, I know, even if I'm not trying to go contrary to what the Senate President said, but even if those guys are from those communities, will you think that anybody will want to point a finger? This is Nigeria, sir. You don't just point fingers at people.
If you don't get impacted.
We love our peace personally. So in as much as most people are being sorry about the death, but sincerely speaking, nobody wants to point fingers. I know it's normal that for our police to tell us, armed forces to tell us, okay, for those that we feel are suspect, we should start raising alarm and making it known. Yeah, that's the proper way, but I bet you for free, nobody will want to. Nobody will want to risk his or her life, because one thing is certain: if you start pointing fingers now, they'll come after you. That's the issue we should address. For everybody that gets to point fingers or say one or two about the particular case, how sure is that person's safety now? Because at this point, just like what our Senate President said, that these guys may not be from Nigeria. These guys may not be from that community. So let's also look at it from that angle. These guys were not ready. This community men were not ready for it. It was not like something they had prior knowledge about. So at this point, they might actually know some persons and they might actually see some persons and not actually know. So let's reduce the pressure on that community. That community has been through a lot already, and a lot is actually going through them. So in as much as we're investigating, let's guarantee their safety, and their safety both psychologically and mentally, because at this point, having women and children spend days in the forest and having to, because no other community will accept them, because accepting this set of people to your community, you're bringing risk, because soldiers will come after them. Because obviously at this point now, they want justice for their men. So driving home my point now, let emotions be taken away from the way our army men are tackling this situation, because I feel emotions have been attached to it. That's why we're having all this crisis now.
All right, the last and main question that bothers me a lot is, if after all this investigation and they find out that these perpetrators of these acts have links to top officials, what then becomes the outcome?
That's like a general problem now. Because we know how investigations are done. We get to feel the heat, and at the end of the day, if it links up to anybody, it's gone. You'll not even see the smoke again. Obviously, everything will just be covered up. One way or the other, we'll not hear about it. But in as much as we know that if it gets to a higher ground, we'll not get to hear this news again. But let justice be done for these 16 persons that that were killed. It will be a level of injustice for this case to just die of like this. So
all right. Thank you very much.
Well.
All right, good day.
God bless you. Good
Welcome. I would like your thoughts on the Vanguard newspaper that says state police, only 16 states submitted presentation. This story now is about, they talk about putting state police in every state. Some states have refused to approve this list about wanting state police. And we know how insecurity is in the country, especially in different states in Nigeria at the moment.
Like now, we don't even have security. Everybody's security on its own.
And some of these federal police do not know the nooks and crannies, the environment in our communities.
That is why you are seeing so many masses now, they are suffering for it. Kidnappers everywhere. Because there is no police, no security allowed to secure those people now. That's why you see that securities, that's why you see now kidnappers, they have opportunity, they have the angle.
And they move freely.
To move freely. And when they are kidnapping, nobody has to even say, hey, stop there, nobody. Based on say there's no security, they move freely. Nobody stops them. If you can't secure yourself, you are your own. When there is no God, you are on your own. It's only God that secure we human being now. Where you can only find securities now is only government house. That is where you find securities.
Exactly.
But outside, you cannot see them. Along express road, you cannot see security. Why? Outside is where they need security, but there is no security, my brother. How are we going to do it in this Nigeria?
And we could hear that just a few days ago, something happened around this room, Okoro artist.
Me, it was in my own eyewitness. I witnessed it, yes. 18 passengers, 18 seaters bus. They were filled up, they kidnapped people, filled the bus. So the one girl was trying to maybe to open the front door in order to escape out. But no way. One of the boys forcefully forced the girl. Yes, within around this Nkpolu East-West Road here. That is where I saw them. The girl was struggling to come out. Why one boy came out? And he pushed the girl and pressed the girl. Him himself came out boldly, hitting the door while the girl was shouting. But nobody to help because there is no security. And no more to pursue them. Nobody is chasing them. They move freely. Yes, they move freely. Nobody chase them. Just based on what they are seeing now.
So this shows the importance of having state police.
We're supposed to have state police.
In
every angle. Every angle. Because assuming that we have security around the area, they cannot pass here. Even if they try, maybe finally they escaped. Maybe Lumundala, maybe within body camp here. They cannot escape this Lumokolo flyover here. Assuming that we have security. Assuming we have security, even if they escape this Lumokolo road here now, they cannot escape Nkpolu. Assuming we have security, maybe even if finally they escape this flyover, this Lumokolo express road here now, they cannot escape this flyover. This what they call it, Obliquere flyover. Because anything that makes them to pass this place now, pass Lumokolo, pass what they call it in Nkpolu, immediately they get to that flyover, the Obliquere flyover, they have gone.
Exactly.
Because no way, nobody can.
Around that place.
Yes, it's very open. There are many ways where they can escape. Yes, yes, nobody will hold them.
So there's huge need for state police.
Yes.
There's need to improve security in the country.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Right, this is where we draw our curtains for today. You heard all what has been discussed here. Please, if you have a counter opinion, please write to our comment section and drop your comments. Of course, we would like to hear your comments and your reactions. They are very important to us. And yes, if you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please subscribe, turn on your notification button, connect with us across all our social media platforms. My name is Obed Jerry, your host for today. And this has been the newspaper review here on TAP TV. Have a lovely weekend ahead.